This is a OSHA citation for a mall department store. It's in Orlando, Florida. I've redacted these so you don't see the names, but you can actually there's enough information on this that you could Google this and figure out what company this is. And they did it twice. They did it twice. I want to tell you why this is so important. They got a citation because a ground pin was missing. The ground pin was missing on a floor fan. This is also a story on how to turn a $200 floor fan into a $4,000 fan. And here's why it's so important. And I never allow or let people get by with making fun of how easy it is to cut off the ground pin. Ground pins on an extension cord power tool fan like this are incredibly important. If anyone tells you they're not, it means they don't know what they're talking about. It means they don't know. So don't take electrical advice from those people. Let me tell you this story. I'll make up this scenario, but this kind of thing happens all the time. Let's say this small department store where this fan is. This fan has been there a year or so. It's been knocked over a lot with fork trucks, right? You know how that happens. And it's just been beat up, and one of the wires on the windings for the motor, if you knock a motor over a bunch, the windings will sometimes contact this what's called the stator winding, the outside winding of this motor, and so it's touching the metal part of this fan. This fan's got a metal case on it, so this fan now has a ground fault because it's been knocked over so many times. And the ground fault means that one of the hot wires is touching something that's grounded. In this case, it's everything. Now, the way this is supposed to work, if it has a ground pin, that ground fault would flow in that ground pin back to the source, and nobody would be hurt. And hopefully it would be enough sufficient amount of current to trip the breaker. None of that happened because the ground pin broke off, or somebody maybe cut it off and didn't do anything about it. So we're using this fan out in the warehouse. It's got a ground fault, but that's okay. Didn't trip anything because the ground pin's not there. Now your daughter is in college, and she comes home at Christmas time. And to get a little extra money at Christmas time, she goes to this mall department store to stock shelves part-time. Her first day on the job, the boss says, "Kid, go move that fan from over there to over there." And the fan's on and running, and she walks over there and grabs it. She knows she can move it while it's still plugged in the short distance she's supposed to move it. Doesn't matter. As soon as she touches the fan, she's killed because the ground pin's missing. There's a ground fault. The ground pin's supposed to carry that ground fault current, but it's not there. So when she touches it with her bare hands, and she's just wearing some thin shoes, and she's making pretty good contact with the ground, and enough current passes through her body to put her heart in arrhythmia, which she never gets out of, and she dies right there. So that's a simple missing ground pin. That's why I don't let people make fun of cutting off a ground pin or a ground pin missing. It's serious. You can kill somebody. And if anyone ever tells you it's not serious, tell them shut up. They're ignorant. They don't know what they're talking about. There's a reason this is there. So hate to be Debbie Downer here, but that happens all the time. And it's a very simple thing that can be avoided. Now, this citation that's on the slide here, this citation is not because the ground pin's missing. They got another citation for that. I'm not showing it. This citation is for not inspecting it. Remember I said you got to inspect the power tools and power cords and things? They assume here because the ground pin is missing that you didn't inspect it. Because if you'd inspected it, you would have seen the ground pin was missing and repaired it. So you got a citation for the missing ground pin, but also for not inspecting for it. because they assume you would have fixed it if you had inspected it. So they like to stack these things up.